Hi everyone. Hi everyone, this is JP Tong, and welcome to today's part two of How Your Mind Works. How Your Mind Works. So today we have another group of virtual audience who have joined us. So let's welcome them. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me tonight. We have Chris, Caroline, Lee Yan Wong, hello, Darren, Ming, Sukfan Chu, Hank, Lily Tan, and Kirsten. Lily is logging in all the way from London. Thank you so much for making the effort to join us. Now, for those of you who have watched the first episode, which is on Monday, I was talking about, I was using this glass of water. Okay, so with this glass of water, as you can see, every time I turn it, excuse me, every time I turn it, this is all your distractions. What I like to do, what I don't like to do, my work, my family, my relationships, my whatever it is that you like to pursue and you're busy with. And with all the distractions, this is what happens to our mind. This is what happens to our mind. All right, and that is why we are always caught up with all the distractions, and to an untrained mind, this is what it's going to look like. Okay, to an untrained mind, and of course it will come up. Other than you being busy, you also have certain emotions arising. You're very passionate about doing certain things, or you need to do certain things. You need to see your friends. You need to buy something. Whatever it is, these are all distractions, and that is why when we need to have the clarity of the mind, a lot of times we struggle. We struggle because why? We have not really spent the time to train ourselves from gaining some clarity, although we have all these distractions. Okay, distractions are things that we like to do. And for some of us, we may not like it, but out of responsibility, out of duty, we still have to do it. Okay, so that's what happens to our mind. And a lot of times we say, I don't know what I'm doing the other day. I'm so stressed. I need to go on a holiday. I need to go on a vacation to kind of de-stress. See, this is what your mind is telling you, de-stress. But the issue is, every time when we go on a holiday, I'm not sure if you're aware, unless you lay on the beach all day, all night, and don't do anything, but usually we'll be going from one place to another sightseeing. So you're constantly distracted. Well, we got to go this place, this place. So you see, this is what happens. So when you're supposed to de-stress and have more clarity and more peace, you're doing this to your mind. Eat this, eat that, and so on and so forth. Because why? You love it. It's your passion. It's your life calling to, some of our friends say, to experience different cultures, because they've never done it before, and they like to live in the country for 1 month. And I told my friend, try it, because I've done it. I was bored to tears and I stopped doing it. So this is what happens. See, so we got to experience. So some of the times we experience it, and there are many things that we don't have to experience in life in order to gain that kind of realization. All right, so there's certain things we can do to fast forward the experience, so you do not actually have to do it, but you will actually gauge how it's going to be like. Okay, which I'll talk about later. So what we want to do, in actual fact, is this, which is what I said on Monday. Yes, we have our attachments that are, what we like, what we don't like. Of course, we will have all that. But you see, you can have all that, but at least train yourself to have some sort of clarity in your mind. And that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so all this residue that you see here are all the things that you like and you don't like to do. So there are ways to let it go down so that you can actually have some sort of clarity in your mind. Some sort of clarity. See, you can see my finger behind it. There's some sort of clarity here. And this is what we want to achieve. See, when we have some sort of clarity, then when things happen, well, or when things do not happen the way you like it, you won't be looking for a feng shui master. You won't look for what is it? Tarot card reading. You won't look for all these people to come and tell you, why is my life not working? Why? You don't need it. Because when you have a trained mind, you will be able to notice a lot of things that you thought that you are fully aware of. And then with this clarity, you can go and you can actually see through it. It is not perfect. It is not perfect. You see a little bit of cloudiness. Okay. But I think for us in general, I think it's good enough. You can kind of gauge. As compared to this, you totally can't see. You think you're in control. You think you can see what's happening, but actually it's totally opaque. You're just making things up. You're just living in your own world, thinking, having this concept of what reality is. But actually, you can't really see it. You can just guess. Does that make sense? So, wait, before I continue, let's see who has logged in. I hope I can. Because just now there was a technical glitch. I was talking away, and then I found out we were not live on YouTube. Hi, Jerry. Hi, Yiman, Nancy, JC, AL, Geraldine Yvonne Chua. Is that your name, Geraldine Yvonne Chua? Hello, thank you, and the rest of you who have actually tuned in, and I cannot see your name, but thank you very much for tuning in. So moving ahead. Now, remember I was saying it's tainted. Our perception is actually tainted. We think we see very clearly, but we need to realize this. It is still slightly polluted. It's still slightly polluted. You see, it's a bit cloudy. It's a bit murky. It's a bit murky. Okay? So we go through our lives thinking that we are very clear with what we perceive. We're so clear, you know, oh, you should be like this, my wife should be like that, my husband should be like this, my colleague should be like this, and why do you not like that? You should be doing this. We're so fast to judge and give our own opinion based on what we perceive. But you know, and then when someone challenges us and says, no, that's not how your finger looks like. It looks like this. And you're like, no, but you know, it looks a bit fatter than this. Then the other person, no, it's a bit skinnier. See, because the other person is looking from this side, you're looking from this side. So, and all of you are looking with a very tainted perception. You have your version, the other person has his version. So, as the cliche goes, well, there's no right or wrong because you know what? Different people have different angles of looking at things based on how clear their mind is. How clear their mind is. So how many times do we actually go into an argument debating who's right and who's wrong? We're so good at that. And for some people, they're so good at writing things behind the computer, telling people, you know, oh, you're ugly, you're fat, and really nasty. Just giving your opinions because why? There's no face. So it's like a form of entertainment for them. So whatever it is, what I'm trying to say is we are very, very highly critical and very highly opinionated most of the time. Some of us verbalize it, some of us do not. But we do have some sort of, we are pretty critical in general. So now that you've realized this, we go, oh, so maybe my perception is not 100% correct. There's still a certain percentage that I may be wrong. You see, when we think on a deeper level about this, the simplicity of this analogy that I just gave you, it will teach you to be less self-righteous and to have room to, and to be okay that people say, hey, no, that's not what I see. That's not how I perceive it. There's room for you to be humble. Humble. There's no right, no wrong. See, humility is very important because why? Humility allows us allows our mind to be open to learn, to receive, to constantly learn and to constantly receive. Because otherwise, if we're not humble, we think we know it all, you see. Even though it's very, it's very cloudy. Yeah, I can see a little bit of you. You can see a little bit of my eye, but it's still not very clear. But we think, see, that's our version of clarity. That's what we have gone through life thinking that, well, that's as clear as it can ever get. So what I'm saying is, no, there are ways to make this, to actually purify this. You just have to put it through a filtration system, and then you can drink it from there. That's how clear. So it's a technique. What methods do you need to adopt in order to purify this like a filtration system, and it comes out crystal clear? And that is what a lot of people try to do nowadays. That's what they try to do. Because why? As we grow older, we realize that, wow, the more I'm open to learning, the more I realize there's so much more to learn. There's so much more that I don't know. That's why I have this program called Thursday Paranormal Tales. It's to allow people it's to open people's mind and make them realize that, what, although you may not have seen these paranormal activities, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. The world is so big. The world is so big. So a good start would be to have an open mind, to realize that no matter how we think we are right, there is always a percentage that we may not see the full picture because of the little bit of cloudiness in our mind, because we're not fully trained yet we're not fully trained. There's a little bit, it's still tainted. Our perception is tainted. Okay, so do we have any questions so far before I go on? Any questions? Kirsten, you told me you have a lot of questions. You can't wait to ask me. Is your mic working today?
Can you hear me?
Yes, finally.
Loud and clear?
Not very clear. Do you have any questions?
Okay. Yes.
We cannot hear you anymore.
Can you hear?
Now we can.
Okay. I'm saying that you're talking about the traveling, right? 1 month clouded your mind. Actually, I think basically it's not that. It's how you organize your travel. How can it? For me, it's like traveling is like it actually give you a clearer mind because it's more exposure. It only clouded if you are not organized with your trip. This is what I think.
I'm just speaking in general. Of course, it doesn't apply to everyone. In general, right? I've heard many people who say, "Oh, after going on a vacation, they need another one because they're so tired. They're so tired because they're going from one place to another." And the person never really got to rest and kind of recuperate, recuperate emotionally, recuperate, inside of them. They never spent time on that. Sorry. And that's why a lot of times you feel even more tired. And a lot of things, sometimes some people do a little bit of meditation when they're on vacation or any time. You don't have to be on a vacation to do this, but spending some time to just be calm and quiet, that actually helps, which is what I will go through later, because there are techniques whereby we can learn so that eventually you can be anywhere, any time of the day, and you can actually train your mind to have this sort of clarity and let all your distractions subside, all the distractions. Okay, but to identify each one of them and then to remove that, that takes many, many years of practice, many, many years, because it takes a lot of effort to take one thing out at a time and go, okay, I'm going to let go of this. It's a lot of effort. All right, which is what I will be teaching later after Chinese New Year. All right, it's a contemplative meditation. So that one I'll talk about later. Okay, but for now, at least we know how the mind works. Okay, in a very simplistic explanation. All right, because the human mind is pretty complex, but I'm just simplifying it for everyone. Okay, so yes, so for you, Kirsten, yes, maybe it does help because why? Perhaps the way you operate is you need to remove yourself from your usual life, your usual environment, and then from there maybe you're inspired when you see something different, or you are inspired when you're exposed to a different culture, and so on and so forth. So different people have different mindsets. Okay, so what I'm saying is just in general. Okay, it's not. I'm not saying everyone. All right. So moving along, do we have any more questions? Yiman, you said just now that some of us only see our own reality. So what's the reality that we should be aware of and realize? Yiman has fantastic questions. Before I continue, let me have some water. That's a very good question. You see, I like questions because why? It means that the person is thinking of what I have shared. So, um, and it motivates me to speak more. Although my producer asked me to not speak so much because 1 hour is too long. So, but anyway, very quickly. So, what's the reality and that we should be aware of and realize? Well, see, this is something that you need to study about nature, the law of nature, how nature works. Remember the impermanence. Things are constantly evolving. It's physics, it's science. Things are constantly evolving. Every breath I'm taking, I'm aging, literally. Okay, every breath I'm taking, I'm aging as I'm speaking here. So I'm constantly evolving. All right. And then when you wake up, the sun rises. So things are constantly moving. Even the plant behind me, it's every day I look at it, I notice some difference because it moves. Sometimes it goes up, it perks up, or it comes down. So that's the law of nature. So when we realize this fact, that is a reality. And when we realize this fact, this reality, we will be able to pinpoint. We will be able to perceive. Because why? Because you can relate to it already. Because you know what to look out for. You know what to look out for. You will notice certain things that, oh, wait. Oh, you see, even this LED light has been with me for a year. I noticed that it's become more yellow. When I first put it in, it was more whitish. So my room is becoming more warm and yellow as it ages. See, so things change. So why am I aware of all these things? Not that I'm like, like what's the word? A compulsive, not that I have a compulsive disorder. I notice all these details, but it's just that through mindfulness training, when we are mindful and we are focused on the now, you will naturally increase your level of awareness. That's how the mind works, which I'll talk about it shortly. Okay. So when we embark on mindfulness training, you will start to perceive not just through your eyes, your ears, your nose, your taste buds. You will also start to perceive using your other senses, your feeling, your gut feeling. You will be able to, you're so sensitive to the environment, you can pick it up. You can pick up the difference. You're so sensitive to the person sitting in front of you that you can even pick up what the person is feeling. Right? Kirsten is very good. I mean, I'm talking to my friends here because I know them, and Lily is fantastic with it. That's what we say high EQ, the emotional quotient. People with high EQ is because why? It's because they've trained themselves to be very sensitive to people in general. So even if I blink an eye with a poker face, Lily will know, oh, this is what JP's thinking, perhaps. Okay. But people with high EQ can sense things a lot more. Okay. So you see, these things you can train. These things you can train. Okay, so what's the reality? When we learn about these kind of physics, it's science, biology, physics, chemistry, it's science. When you know that this is how the universe operates, then you will know slowly. Okay, so things are impermanent. Relationships are impermanent. My mortality is impermanent. My job is impermanent. My car is impermanent. Everything that is here, even my air conditioning unit, is impermanent. It will break down one day. So if life in general is impermanent, then we think deeper. We think deeper. So then we cherish every second of the day. I'm so grateful that my air conditioning is working. I'm so grateful that we have electricity right now because there were times in Malaysia or in Bentong where there was no electricity for 1 or 2 days because the cables were severed. So there was no electricity. So now with electricity, I'm very grateful. That's why on Monday I said gratitude is very, very important because a lot of things we take for granted. But when you really focus on the now and experience the now, there's so many things that you realize that through the law of nature, that things are impermanent, you will learn to cherish everything that you have right now. Happiness, as I said the last time, is a choice. We can choose whether or not we're happy right now. But you have to be aware and you have to be mindful of all the things that we're so blessed with that we normally take for granted. Yeah. I mean, like, because I built this place, I still remembered 9 years ago, this was a jungle. I had to camp out on tents while building this. There was one teeny weeny like cable like this, enough for a fan, a light. You can't even turn on the water heater; it will trip. And I remember that once I finished building this, wow, it was like civilization, and I really learned to appreciate all these modern amenities and conveniences that we're so blessed with because we were just camping out in the jungle. There were wild animals, wild boars, walking around in the middle of the night. So, you see, because of my experience, I learned that, oh, wow, I should be grateful with what I have. But there are techniques, as I said, that you can do to fast forward, to visualize and fast forward so that you don't have to live through it because you know what? Life is short. Sometimes you don't get the opportunity to go through certain experience to increase or to attain certain realizations. Okay, so Yiman, your reality, you need to study, and then after that, you look again. It will become more and more clear as you study. That's why study is very good. You study and you apply it. Don't A lot of times we study and then we forget because why? Well, it's an intellectual. Oh, it was interesting. It's an intellectual stimulation. It's locked down, so I have nothing to do. I might as well just listen to JP just talk away, and that's it. It was an interesting topic, and then that's it. Okay, so yeah, but it will be even better if you actually take the time during this lockdown and really think about what I have said. Does it make sense? If it doesn't make sense, ask me. Ask me again. Okay. Okay. Let's see who else is here. Any other questions? Any questions from the virtual audience? No questions? Yes. Down there. Is it? I cannot see. Is that so fun? Yes. You need to turn on your mic. It's a lady down there. I cannot see. Freon, what's her name? If maybe if you can turn on your mic, then I can hear you. There you go.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. So I'm actually asking on behalf of Iman as well. So
Iman,
yeah, right. The question is like, how can we be more positive and take things constructively?
how can we be more positive and take things constructively? Can you elaborate more?
Like when we are down, so we, in certain situation, like yeah, if we are down, so how can we like, react in a positive way, or take things constructively, maybe like, don't be affected by the emotion. Yeah.
I understand. Okay, many things can happen in our lives, be it people, things don't happen the way we want it to be. Certain people say certain thing that is too direct, and you're not ready to listen to it. And you may even think, oh, that's so untrue of me. Or whatever it is that goes through your head to nullify whatever has been said about you, for example. And it's very hurtful. So, whatever it is, you see, what these are all external factors that you're experiencing, and you choose to react this way. Okay, maybe it is something that you do not consciously choose, but you cannot help it. It becomes automatic. It becomes automatic. Why? It's because, like on Monday, I said because we have been operating on a basis that is so constant for decades. It is how we program our mind to operate. Okay, it's like a computer software. So we are the computer, we are the hardware, and every day when you do something, you're actually writing a program in your mind. You like it, you don't like it. Oh, you reacted this way, you perceived it this way, although it was very murky. That's how you perceived it, and it became your experience because of that murkiness. You experience it out of your murky perception, and then you started to react to it because why? You thought that your experience was something that did not wasn't agreeable to you. You thought. But you see, when we start to realize that a lot of external factors are external factors and is beyond our control, we need to realize that you cannot stop a person from saying certain things. You cannot stop a person from doing certain things to us. You cannot stop the sun from rising and setting. I can't stop the rain. I think it's going to rain tonight. There's supposed to be a thunderstorm. I cannot stop that. So I have a choice how I choose to react to it. Because I realize that everything else is out of my control. The only thing I can control is how I react to it. How I react. All right? That is the first thing that we need to realize. The second thing is this. Because we are already of a certain age, we're so used to a certain way of doing things. Our belief system is very much intact. Our program is already written in our mind. It's already written. How we operate, our thought process has already been written. So in order to rewrite it, so that the next time when the same thing happens, you actually are okay with it. You may not agree with what the person has done. It's like, oh, poor thing, so nasty. Wow. Because you have studied how the mind works. People who always remember this, people who inflict suffering on others a lot of time, is a, it, it is a manifestation of how unhappy they are. Because they are so unhappy, and that is their comfort zone, all right? That's a comfort zone. Because they are so unhappy, and that is a comfort zone, they will manifest their suffering onto others by hurting other people. It may not sound logical, but that's how it is. Because why? That's how the person is used. That is the environment that the person is used to. To an untrained mind. To an untrained mind, that's how it is. When a person is very happy, no, I mean, take note. When a person is normally very happy, normally, okay, very happy, what happens? The person will be smiling. Hey, how are you? How's your day? Here, have a gift. You're very giving, you're very caring, and you're all that because why? You're very happy. You want to spread your joy. But when you're very unhappy, the same thing. You want to spread your unhappiness. So the more a person is nasty, because you realize this psychology behind it, you will become more empathetic. You go, oh, wow, poor thing. I'm like your punching bag. Like I've become your punching bag. Like I've become your victim.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so of course, you see, I'm not saying that after listening to me, then you and Yiman will go, okay, now come shoot at me. Nothing is going to happen. It takes practice. It takes a lot of practice. So we have to, and which is what I'm going to go into very, very quickly. Okay. Um, which is why there are certain ways there are certain exercises that you can do to rewire your brain, All right. And
Okay.
what is the thing that I'm going to talk about? Anybody guess?
Meditation.
Who was that?
It's me.
I cannot see. Is it so fun?
Yeah.
Very meditation. Now, I went online to search because I have read and I've seen many videos about scientists doing research on people who meditate versus people who do not meditate. Meditation is, it's not about, being like, and then not think of it. It's not. Meditation is just still the mind, STILL, still the mind, calm the mind, and just focus on one thing. That's it. It's not blank the mind. Sometimes people come and say, "Oh, but you just don't think about anything." Not really. You just focus on something. Focus on something. Like I say, you can focus on the lights, on the candle, on your phone, but it's easier to focus on the breath. Okay, because I remember when I was teaching my morning meditation. I mean, I have followers who say, who insisted during the meditation class, oh, can I just focus on my painting of a holy being because I can focus better. I said, well, sure. And then later on, he tells me when he goes to the office, he doesn't have that painting there, so he couldn't focus. And see, that's how our mind works. We are people who will, once we are used to something, once we have learned something, we go on an automatic mode. It kicks in.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you who I don't know, I mean, like what you cook. I mean, it's like with both eyes closed, you can cook because you've been doing it all the time. So that's how our mind works. That is why when we want to rewire our mind, when we want to adopt healthier lifestyle, a healthier lifestyle, the first few weeks is going to be very, very uncomfortable. You're going to go, I'm going to regret it. I mean, like going on a diet, going for an exercise, waking up early, do this, do that, whatever it is that we always say, okay, my New Year resolution is this. And then it's been like this for 10, 20, 30 years, right? And I forget it. No more New Year resolution. It doesn't work. It's because why? It's because we are not doing it using baby steps, which is what I taught during my meditation class. Right? So why does meditation work? This is very interesting. I did some research and it's very technical because you have different, there are 5 brain waves, and through the and they actually put some wires on people who meditate. And there was a Rinpoche that Mingyur Rinpoche, His Holiness Mingyur Rinpoche from a different lineage, he was subject to tests because he wrote a book, and he's supposed to be the happiest person. Uh, yeah, I mean, I think he has a book or something like that he's the happiest person. So the scientists actually hooked him up with all these wires and actually studied which part of the brain is more active. All right. And they did it with other people who meditate as well. And it was predominant that there's certain wave that is very, very dominant. Okay. And this is which you can actually research. I mean, you can actually Google it. It's all there. But I'm not going to go in depth. But what it says is this: when they notice that people who meditate, they notice that the certain parts of their brain is more active, and that actually even the physical brain starts to kind of like change its shape, because the brain can actually connect. They're like neurons, they're like wires. They can actually form the new connections. It's very interesting. And they said that this scientific research, okay, and they noticed that people who meditate, especially advanced meditators, their wavelength, or there's a certain wavelength that is only dominant when you're asleep or when you're extremely calm. Okay, it's like you're almost sleeping. It's that state, but and it only happens when we're in deep sleep. Okay, whereby we have no dreams. It's like you're in a deeper sleep. But for advanced meditators, that brain wave is highly active. Highly active. And it and it also shows that when you're in that state, your senses are very heightened. Your senses are heightened. It also says that when you're at that state, or when you operate from that state, you do not get depressed very easily. It says is because why? You train your mind to not focus on. There's a certain wire. There's a certain nerve that because if you keep entertaining that, it will become stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So when you meditate and you go into deeper levels of like different waves and you work different parts of your brain, and you strengthen that part of the brain, that becomes stronger. That connection becomes stronger. So when you do that long enough, you become more positive. You're much faster with what you do. You can focus so well. Your memory increases. Okay, this is from scientific research. Your memory improves, your awareness and your cognitive powers increase, and you're very calm, and you don't feel very stressed, and you feel very joyful. Feel very joyful. There's also a wave, a certain part of the brain wave whereby it was mentioned, how Anthony Robbins would actually, for those of you who don't know who he is a motivational speaker, and apparently during his seminars he'll get people to jump up and down, dance and all that to get that energy up. Why? Because when your energy is up, for the athletes, it's called playing in the zone. It's like the 11th hour. So when you're in the zone, your mind is very active. Okay, and it's just go 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 go, and then for an athlete it is to score that goal, whatever it is. No more thinking, nothing. You're so focused on that goal, you're just going to do it. And that's what Anthony Robbins teaches, and many other motivational speakers too, is to get yourself to be in that zone. So according to the scientists, they also notice that people who meditate a lot can actually they have this heightened wave. And that is why they can just keep they can accomplish so much more. Okay, and that is by focusing on your breath, and that's it. You don't have to go for surgery. You don't have to have somebody go, ting, put magic on you. You don't have to go and to the astrologer to change your luck and all that. You don't have to go to a feng shui master. You don't. You do this all by yourself, and it's free. All it costs is 5, 10, 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes of your time a day. And that's how you rewire. Is literally rewiring your brain. And when you rewire it through meditation, you notice that your behavior starts to change, right? So for Sukfun, maybe somebody comes and irritate you. Maybe the same person who used to irritate you does the same thing again, but because you've been so diligent after following the meditation program, and you've been so diligent and so consistent, you will notice. Why are you laughing?
Because I'm not consistent.
Okay.
After the classes stopped, I didn't really do it every day. Yeah.
Well, if you do it every day,
Yeah.
you will notice that you. Oh, you tell me. You tell me what has changed in your emotion. I remember in one of my class, I think it was Kok Duan, if I remember correctly, he told me he was less stressed. Kok Duan is here. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kok Duan. I think he did say he's less stressed nowadays. He
No,
noticed.
he's not here today.
He is watching me right now. He just left me a
Yeah.
comment.
Okay.
Yeah, so he told me, yeah, he shared. He said, oh, he's less stressed nowadays, and there's certain people who say, that they can actually do more. Again, it's about whether or not you choose to react. And he said it wasn't even it didn't take a lot of effort. It was just so natural that he just didn't feel the stress. See, so things like that does happen. So I'm giving you the scientific angle to it, so that I will motivate all of you to be consistent. Take baby steps, even 5 minutes. 5 minutes is a breeze. You see, I've been going on nonstop it's been 45 minutes, and it only felt like 5 minutes. Why? Because I've been trained to keep talking, keep talking, keep talking, keep talking. So when you get used to something, then it'll just pass like this. So to answer your questions of thought, yes, you see, meditation does help you rewire how your brain operates, and you become more positive and so on and so forth. Okay, if you're suffering from high blood pressure, of course they say that it will lower your blood pressure, but you still need to take your medication, and then you see what happens. But I do have a cousin who actually did meditation to lower his blood pressure, and he said it was fine, and he did it every day. Okay, so there are many benefits. So if you want to seek for happiness, more joy, more contentment, more fulfillment, it's all here. It's all here. It's not what you do. It's not that bucket list that you got to fulfill, that you got to keep going at it. Because why? The bucket list most of the time, okay, I'm not saying all, most of the time is just stirring this up again and again and again, and you have so many in your bucket list, it just becomes like this. So does it ultimately give you that peace and fulfillment? Because if it does, you should be at peace and fulfilled already without keep going at your bucket list. Because why? You want more in your bucket list. You want more. So that's how we check our mind. If that method works, then you will be fulfilled already. So what I'm saying is it's all about here. It's all in here. Okay, so yes,
Yeah.
meditation is wonderful, wonderful. For those of you who have your prayers, I know, well, in Kechara, as a Buddhist practitioner, there are certain visualizations you do when you do your daily prayers. So focus on that visualization focusing on a visualization is a form of meditation. Meditation, it's about focusing on something. And you keep doing it, and you keep doing it, and you keep doing it. Okay? Any questions? Cochran, I think it's important that as we journey into understanding our mind, we need to start simple and break down the problems or issues into bite-sized portion. Definitely. Tenzin Zamkar, hello. Is it all about self-centeredness, me, and wrong projections of things happening around us? No, that is partially correct. Self-centeredness. When we're so focused on ourselves and what we like, and we and we take so much pride on our opinions that we actually lose focus on what's really out there, because we're so driven, we're very focused on just wanting to show people that we know it, perhaps. So it's a lot of, remember on Monday I say, a lot of times we need to be brutally honest with ourselves. Brutally honest. Okay, when we're brutally honest with ourselves, then we go, oh, yeah, why did I just say that? Why did I just do that? So, see, we're very good at giving opinions about other people. So, but when we reverse it to ourselves, then some of you will say, "Ooh, how scary! I don't want to look at myself." But if you don't, how are you going to understand your mind? How are you going to understand yourself? See, so there's no way about it. So you have to, no matter what. If you truly want, see, the end result will be worth it, because once you confront all your demons and whatnot, you will find solutions to overcome it. Okay, Kirsten has a question. Okay, yes, Kirsten.
Yeah, hi. Okay. Just now you said about rewiring. That is, I think it's called the synapses connect. So I'm wondering, right, is it able to, like those special needs children, because I used to work with them last time. So the reason they are special, like uh, they are slightly behind in learning, is because of the connections of their synapses. So maybe is it possible, like those kids who are special, like autistic, Down syndrome, can actually we train them for meditation? Are we able to do that?
Depends on how severe it is. Depends on the special child. What medical what is their situation medically? Because if there's certain parts of the brain that is non-existent, that is causing that condition, then there's nothing much you can do. So it's case to case. Children who have a wider spectrum of autism or learning disabilities, there are techniques whereby they can actually overcome it. And there are many people who are dyslexic, who knows how to overcome it. You don't even know. I read like Tom Cruise is dyslexic. Did you know that? So you cannot tell, because why? He went through school to actually overcome it. Okay, there are ways to overcome it. So case to case. Definitely, there are certain. If the situation is not very severe, definitely they can meditate. And there are many schools out in India whereby they teach meditation in schools, because when children grow in this environment whereby they learn to control the mind, and because they learn to control mind, and because they learn to calm the mind by controlling it, and because, as you know, now that you know, the brains are wired in a way that is more beneficial, they are less needy. This is what I read. Okay, they're less needy. It's not about me. Oh, I want this, I want that, and I want to play this video game. It's less of that. So they don't have all this emotional need. They have less emotional need to, as compared to a child who have not meditated. No, there are a lot of benefits, definitely, and the child is in general more grounded, and of course more focused on their studies or whatever it is that they like to do. They're very, very focused. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Kirsten.
Mm, thank you.
You're welcome. Uh, anyone else? Caroline, you have a question?
Yeah, I do. Um, just wondering when someone that they have more beta waves or they are too focused or they are at the focused mental state, do they actually, there are times where they do not actually show their emotions or they are,
They are what? Sorry.
when you see them, there's no emotion at all.
When you
Can
see
you hear
them,
me?
there's at all. You're breaking up again. Oh, you're frozen. Okay, if I heard you correctly, you're saying that some people who are so focused on doing something, they don't show emotions. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so what is your question to me?
No, sorry. My question is, does that mean that when, I mean, just the questions on this, does that mean when a person that they meditate most of the time or they are in the, they are very focused, most of the time they do not show emotions?
Oh no, that's not true.
Mm.
My my teacher was a very advanced meditator. He showed a lot of emotions, right? Rinpoche had a lot of emotions. That's not true. I noticed people of up to a certain very advanced state, they are very malleable, very flexible. They are not fixated in a certain way. Anything goes. Um, and when they're very happy, it's almost childlike. That it's just very authentic, very, very authentic. And the emotions come and go, but they don't harbor on negativity. That's what I noticed. Very constructive. How to always solve other people's problems. Always very compassionate, very helpful, always looking out for others. Very, very selfless. That's what I noticed. So no, I think the person are just, you see, because when you're not trained, I mean, I think I know what you're trying to say. There's certain people who just focus. You be calling them, it's as though they've turned off their ears and they just can't listen because they're so focused. You see, it's because they've not been trained. That's all. It's all about training. Okay, so don't worry. So don't think that just because you're going to start meditating, you're going to be cold and all that. No, 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 no. You will be highly sensitive. You'll be more sensitive, and you'll be more aware. See, meditation is not the solution to your happiness. It is like you want to run a marathon very well. You want to run all the way to the end. It is like 100 kilometers marathon. You want to have the stamina, and you want to run it and win. So what do? You go to the gym to strengthen your muscles and to increase your stamina. So for us, when we meditate or you do any form of focusing or mindfulness training, you're training the mind, the brain, to be more resilient, to be stronger. Because why? You are bombarded with so much distractions on a daily basis. You want to do this, 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 this. There's so many things constantly. That's why when you sit down, notice how your mind keeps, all the thoughts keep coming up all the thoughts, is because we're constantly thinking non-stop. You may not even be aware of it, but that's how it is. So that's why when we learn to control the mind and you strengthen that control and you strengthen it and you let certain neurons join that are more positive, that are more beneficial to you, then on top of that, you study about the law of nature, how nature works. How nature works. So when you study and then your mind is strong and resilient, whatever is, is thrown at your face, you can like kind of dodge it and like, oh, okay. You will be agile and and sensitive enough and aware that things are coming your way and you know how to overcome it. So it's nothing mystical. It's actually very, 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 very logical. But you see, all this takes effort. It takes effort. Everything takes effort. And it takes consistency, consistent effort. Consistent effort. So you see, with this lockdown, people are going cranky. Very cranky, because why? We're not used to being locked down. And I was told that not only does the hotline for mental health has increased, the number of calls people are getting on a daily basis have increased to a point that they could not even handle. Even divorces have increased. I'm sure all of you have read that, right? It could be because why? Simple. Because when times are good, everything is kind of normal. We're so distracted with everything else. Busy, 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 you see? We're so distracted. Go here, go there, fly here, fly there, do this, do that. We never really took the time to understand how the mind works, how this thing works. It's like you want to drive a car. You never studied how to drive a car. You never practiced, and you just drive it. Of course, you're going to have accidents along the way. Definitely. You see, so it's so logical. So then you go, oh, but I don't have time. Well, then be prepared for all these accidents and all the hurt that you're gonna get. And when you get all the hurt, there's nothing to talk about. What's there to talk about? Because you never went to school for it. You never took the time to study and practice so that when you drive that car, you drive it well without hurting yourself. Does that make sense? Why is everybody's face like frozen? Everything in life requires effort. If I say, oh, after my talk you'll be fine, I'm lying. I'm lying to you. Okay, questions from the audience. Batku, hi, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. Hi, JP. I'm watching just a few minutes and I have questions. Could you explain the parts of the mind, for example, intellect, memory equals data and self-identity? And does meditation reprogram self-identity? Okay, definitely. Now, meditation reprogramming self-identity. Self-identity is something that we try to box ourselves into a certain identity. Okay, it's something that we do some of us without even realizing it, or we consciously do it, or maybe it's just cultural pressure that you have to conform to a certain identity. Okay, there are many, many reasons why you yourself perceive yourself as a certain identity. All of us have that. All of us. It's just a matter of whether or not you are aware of it, but all of us do. Okay, something to think about. So like, for example, if I ask, let's say, Lily, how do you describe yourself, for example? So whatever you say, that is your self-identity. How you perceive yourself, that's your self-identity. All of us. So through meditation, can you reprogram your self identity? Definitely you can. Because when your mind is clearer, you will be able to perceive reality much clearer. You see, you can see my finger much clearer. And if I filter this water, you will see it very, very well. That's the reality. You see, when I show you this, it's like, oh, your finger looks pretty dark. You see, that's what I perceive. But it's very fair, you see. But behind the water is very dark. But you see, you are perceiving it through your tainted perception because your mind is still very tainted. It's still very distracted. So through meditation, you can actually let all the residue subside, and then you have much more clarity. And if you want to see below this, that takes even more effort. Because all that is your distraction. All that are I call it distraction or your attachments and whatnot. I'm not saying it's good or bad, okay? So I'm not judging. I'm just saying if you choose to see more, then you have to remove all this. You have to remove it. Otherwise, you only have what? 80% perception? You will not be able to see the rest of the 20% of what's on the other side of the glass. See? So I'm not saying, yeah, I'm not saying everyone, of course, it'd be nice to have 100%, but the big but, are we willing to put in the effort? Are we willing to work on removing all our distractions, aka attachments? Aha. So if we're not, then I think for now, this is good enough. This is good enough. Do you think so? This is good enough. Yes, so definitely. Meditation can do that. But you see, but you definitely need to study. You definitely need to increase your knowledge so that because when your mind is ready, it is quick, it's fast, it can perceive, it's very clear. You need input, you need enough knowledge to input into your mind. And then from there, you'll be able to understand reality much, much better. And then from there, you will see how it will relate to your life. So because of that realization, you will naturally reprioritize things that are important in your life. It's an organic progression. Is that wonderful? Nobody's going to force us and go, bad girl, bad boy. No, you will know what to do because why? Because you realize if you keep operating like this, you're going to get the same results. Who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? No feng shui master is going to do anything. No psychic is going to help you to do anything. You just have to do it to tweak it. Just tweak here, just tweak it. And you will see that it's worth all that effort. Okay, so I hope I have explained that, I'll answer your question, Batku. Anybody else? Oh, it's already 10:10. See, I've run out of time. Oh, you're most welcome. Okay, if there's no more questions, I will have to call it the night because my producer is already saying too long, too long. I hope you guys enjoyed today's program, and again, do share with people on your Facebook page because it's very interesting how our mind works. It's very complex, and if we know how to work our mind, it's very powerful. Very, very powerful. And it can bring all that joy and happiness and fulfillment that everyone is looking for. And it doesn't cost us anything. It only costs us a little bit of time to understand and, of course, putting in the effort. It's consistent effort. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So thank you very much. So share with all your friends. And I'll see you guys Friday, same time. All right, take care. Bye-bye.